It's election day. We are breaking down important local races that you need to know about. Plus, New York State extends its paid family leave.
Well, it's November, and you know what that means. Some snow. Yes, some accumulating snow will be possible through the next couple of days. We'll talk about how much we'll see next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
It will be a busy night in Chautauqua County as several dozen seats from all levels of local government are up for re-election this year. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now this election day. I'm Justin Gould. Across Chautauqua County, the biggest race of the night will be for Chautauqua County Executive, with incumbent Republican P.J. Wendell looking to extend his tenure over Democratic challenger Norm Green. Wendell is running on a platform of proven leadership, touting his success in steering the county through the pandemic, while Green's main push has been to point out his weak spots, specifically signaling out the county's COVID-19 death toll and Wendell's stance on state mandates. Another top race is for Chautauqua County Clerk, with incumbent Republican Larry Barmore facing off against Democratic challenger David Sally. The two primarily differ on how the Department of Motor Vehicles is run, with Barmore operating the office as a business and Sally saying it should be a public service. All 19 Chautauqua County legislative districts are up for re-election too, with the focus on 9 contested races. Within the city of Jamestown, the Republican majority on city council is at stake. Specifically, we're watching the at-large race and how that will turn out, with 2 incumbent Republicans seeking to retain their seats against 4 challengers, 3 Democrats, and 1 Republican. There are also 3 contested ward races as well, Ward 3, 4, and Ward 6. And we're keeping an eye on those. However, most have long-term incumbent Democrats who are likely to retain their seat. Ward 1 and 2 will likely be re-elected, seeing re-elections of Republicans Brent Sheldon and Tony Dole since they're running unopposed. In the race for Ward 5, the incumbent Republican has expressed his intention to not seek re-election this year, although he's already registered on the ballot, so he will be an option for voters. His Democratic opponent, Doug Lawson, could win that seat. Well, voters have the chance to make their voices heard today in many of these important local races. However, before they go to the polls, a local Board of Elections office has a few tips to keep in mind. That's where we find WNY News Now's Bronson Rasmussen, who's live for us this noon hour from a polling site in Jamestown with more on what their message is. Hello, Bronson.
Thank you, Justin. Here I am at the Hillcrest polling site in Jamestown, New York, right on the corner of Halleck and Newland Streets. Now, this polling site has seen quite a few people today, while Commissioner Brian Abrams says to come in and avoid the lunch and dinner hours to beat that rush.
We expect a steady stream of individuals, but we always see a bump, usually at lunchtime, and then a larger bump right at the dinner hour.
Some voters might have questions about where they should go to cast their ballot. Abram is directing everyone to his department's website for clarity.
You can go on to votechautauqua.com. You can actually find yourself, and it will take you and give you a little map of where you need to go, what your poll site's address is. You can also look at your ballot prior to.
As for results, he says they will begin to come in around 9 p.m., with early voting totals appearing first. As the night goes on, data from individual poll sites will appear until all ballots are counted.
As we get the data discs back from the field, they get uploaded by our staff, and the results will change as quickly as we can get the the data disc from the machine to the Board of Elections.
Absentee ballots, which can be dropped off at individual poll sites throughout the day, Tuesday, placed in the mail, or brought directly to the Board of Elections office in Mayville, will be counted next week. In the end, the election commissioner simply wants everyone to get out and vote.
I think it's important that people understand that this is a local year and these races affect you daily. I mean, these people are your county executives or your county clerk or your legislator.
And back to us live at the polling site in Jamestown. The recent traffic here has been off and on, around 11:45 being a flux of people showing up here. And so far on the machines, we have 56 that has voted on one and 194 that has voted on another. Justin, back to you.
All right, Bronson, watching the polls for us today, of course, we'll continue to provide updates there from that site and on our election coverage tonight. Thank you, sir. And there are two major propositions that voters will continue on the back of the ballot. First, New Yorkers are voting on several proposed changes to the state constitution that include it would make it easier to vote. One proposed constitutional change would remove a requirement that people must register to vote at least 10 days before an election. Another change would make it possible for the legislature to make mail-in voting permanent. During the pandemic, the state allowed voters to fearful of the virus to vote by mail. Democrats want that to be something permanent. Another ballot measure that is up for consideration would alter New York's process of drawing boundaries of congressional and legislative districts. Republicans and some election right groups say the referendum gives Democrats supermajority power. New York could also join a handful of states that passed constitutional amendments giving people the right to clean environments as well. A measure on the ballot would approve adding the right to clean water, air, and a healthy, full environment to New York State's constitution. Supporters say the amendment will be required for the government to consider environmental effects on policy making going forward. However, opponents say it could open the state up to some liability. And for many, deciding who to vote for can be tough. Generally speaking, turnout for these local elections are low, and here in Chautauqua County, only about 4% of voters turned out for early voting last week, and now that Election Day is here, the push to get people to the polls is on. Elena Jonathan with our news partner WNY News Now has more on the importance of voting here locally.
Does this candidate line up with you on their beliefs on taxes, right? Do they have the background to do the job?
That's what history professor Jeffrey Bloodworth from Gannon University says to consider when picking a candidate on Tuesday. He says it's more important now than in any other election to get out and cast your vote.
It's about 2/3 of registered voters turn out for presidential races. And then you get to like a governor's race, a regular midterm, it goes down to 45%. And then for local races, it's down to 29%.
He says the number of voters who come out isn't high enough, but here in Erie County, we rank higher in terms of voter turnout for local elections.
29% is just, man, it's anemic.
Bloodworth explains getting out to vote on Tuesday is crucial if you want to see actual change in your community.
I would push people to look at the issues, right? Rather than, I like the cut of the jib of that candidate.
Elena Jonathan, WNY News Now.
Elena, thank you. We will be carrying live election results and coverage from the field starting at 8 o'clock tonight right here on Facebook Live, WNYNewsNow.com, and channel 716 on Roku. I hope you can join us. Well, now let's get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us live with that. And the story weather-wise today, besides the election, Dakota, has been the snow that's been falling in some areas.
Yes, we actually have had a rain-snow mix in some areas, mainly in Cattaraugus County, up in the highest hills. You've actually seen a little bit of snowflakes this morning, but the Olean Skycam is the closest one we actually have to some of that light snow falling, and you don't really see much from the from this camera, which overlooks JCC on Union Street. But First Defense Doppler radar does show you some of that rain showers that have been moving through. These are lake effect rain showers coming right off Lake Erie, of course, with a source wind from our region in the upper Great Lakes. We're seeing those lake effect rain showers continue, but notice they're starting to mix in with some rain, with some light snow showers as well. And that's going to continue through the day. And really for the next couple of days, we're really going to see the chance for light rain and snow showers. So, and there will be some accumulation out of it too, mainly in the overnight hours. 46 was the high yesterday. Started the day at a pair of threes, 76 and 21. That record low was set just 21 years ago in 2010. So it's basically going to be a cold day. 37 on the hills to 47 at the lake shore. A good deal of clouds, scattered rain showers, mainly just all snow in the hills, but light snow though, and cold. And it will be brisk with a west wind 10 to 25. Now the snow gets going in light nature overnight, and then through the next couple of days we'll talk about how much snow we're expecting and that 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin?
Yeah, Dakota, we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Thank you, sir. Well, in other news today, Governor Kathy Hochul has signed a bill expanding New York State's paid family leave law to include caring for siblings who are seriously ill. Under current law, New Yorkers cannot take leave to care for a sibling with a serious health condition because paid family leave only covers caring for spouses, children, parents. However, the latest legislation expands that legal definition to all family members, which will include siblings. New Yorkers can take leave to care for their seriously ill siblings even if the sick individual is outside of our state or country.
It was 33 years ago when I had to make a tough decision myself. When I was expecting a child, had a baby, working as an attorney on Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan's staff in Washington, and thought for sure it'd be an easy time and, be able to get back to work when all is said and done. And I needed paid leave. My husband was a public servant. I was a public servant. We didn't have the money for extra help to come in and take care of us, and we struggled.
New York's paid family leave was first enacted in 2016. Eligible workers can take up to 12 weeks off at 67% of their pay, up to a cap. Well, a former New York State lawmaker has pled guilty to drunk driving following a crash in his state-issued SUV in 2019. WHEC reporting that Brian Kolb waived his right to appeal after entering the plea in Victortown Court. Authorities said Kolb was behind the wheel when his vehicle slid off a driveway and down an embankment near his home in Victor on New Year's Eve in 2019. The accident occurred just a week after he wrote a newspaper column warning those against drunk driving. A breath test showed Kolb had a blood alcohol concentration of 0.16%. That's double the legal limit of 0.08% for driving, according to a court filing. Although initially blaming his crash on his wife, he then admitted later to drinking 4 to 5 cocktails at a restaurant earlier that evening, according to those court dockets. 4 days after the crash, Kolb stepped down from his position as the leader of the Assembly's Republican minority and announced he would not be seeking re-election in November. Well, coming up, the latest in where the new stadium talk stands for the Buffalo Bills. And later, as it gets colder outside, you might notice your heating bill has gone up. We break down some cost-saving measures that you're going to want to consider. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues on this election day.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Though the Buffalo Bills' lease on their current stadium doesn't expire for 21 more months, time is running short on the team reaching a financing agreement with public officials on its proposed new build. Bills officials have maintained that they're solely focused on reaching an agreement with the state and county officials to help finance a proposed $1.4 billion, that's 60,000 plus seat stadium to be built across the street from their existing facility in Orchard Park. And yet the threat of the teams relocating remains a possibility, even though it hasn't been raised in talks. The time crunch is becoming an issue because the Bills are seeking clarity on their long-term future, while also saying that it has no interest in renewing the lease once it expires at the end of July 2023. Negotiations are on hold until the state completes its own feasibility study, which Governor Hochul says could be done within the next few days. The study will assess the costs of building a new stadium, either at the Bills' proposed site or somewhere else. Well, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Gaming Commission are reminding boaters of a new life jacket requirement that went into effect yesterday. From November 1st through April 30th, boaters in PA are not required to wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket while in a boat less than 16 feet in length or any kayak, canoe, or paddle boat. The requirement applies to all waters in the state because sudden cold water immersion, also known as cold water shock, happens when a person unexpectedly is submerged below cold water of 70 degrees, resulting in an involuntary gasp where they could inhale water. The reaction can cause panic and lead to death in many cases. According to the Commonwealth, nearly 80% of all boating fatalities happened because victims were not wearing a life jacket. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court hearing oral arguments yesterday on a Texas law that bans most abortions after 6 weeks. Amid a nationwide firestorm, the court agreed to fast-track 2 appeals, signaling that the justices understand the case is urgent. Camila Burnell explained some questions asked by a sharply divided court.
Case 21-463, Whole Women's Health versus Jackson.
Arguments before the Supreme Court reigniting a debate concerning the most restrictive abortion law in the country.
Abortion bans have got to go!
The 9 justices considering a Texas law that bars abortion after the detection of an embryonic heartbeat at around 6 weeks, often before a woman knows she's pregnant.
Life is protected when the heartbeat is first detected.
But the justices not discussing whether the Texas law violates Roe v. Wade. Instead, the court focusing on the unusual way in which the Texas legislature crafted the law and reviewing whether the Justice Department can challenge the law in court.
I'm wondering if, in a defensive posture in state court, the constitutional defense can be fully aired.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett, a key vote, questioning the structure of the Texas law, and Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan focusing on how the ban creates a model to attack other rights.
So this is not limited to abortion. That's the point that's been raised. It's limited to any law that a state thinks it's dissatisfied with.
Justice Brett Kavanaugh also signaling there is no danger of the ban's enforcement mechanism
being pointed at other constitutionally protected rights, because those rights are more certain than the right to an abortion. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Camila, thank you. The court is hearing another abortion case next month, a challenge to Mississippi's 15-week ban, where the court's precedent in Roe v. Wade will be explicitly in play. Well, it's beginning to look like Christmas in and around the Jamestown area, and I'm not talking about those slight snowflakes that were expected to fall over the next couple of days, but the holiday decorations, which are going up around downtown. The city's Parks Department has spent the last few weeks setting up these iconic snowflakes along light poles and laying out the holiday lights along downtown streets and trees. It appears that crews have a little bit more to do before we're ready to ring in holiday cheer. However, those up last night and early this morning got the chance to look at those lights in action. Certainly looks like a lot of holiday spirit out there. Let us know what you guys think about this and more in the comment section down below. Yeah, I saw those as I was coming in this morning, Dakota, and it was, cloudy enough, dark enough that you were able to get to them. But I think, honestly, it's beautiful all year long. I know a lot of people are like, Christmas. But, the lights on the trees, it really gives a flair, I think, to downtown and brightens it up. But you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, and, pretty soon they're going to be hanging those snowflakes on the light poles.
Yeah, they already did. There's a couple of, it seems like they still have a lot more to do, but they've kind of started like at City Hall, and it looks like they're working their way out. But a lot of fun nevertheless. And a lot of people might be getting into the Christmas spirit if they woke up to some snow out there. And it's definitely been a chilly morning, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was. It was a chilly start to the day, but it was also breezy as well yesterday. The peak wind gust at the Jamestown airport was 25. We'll likely have another breezy day today with wind gusts possibly around 25 to around 30 miles an hour once again today. And this is where we started the day, speaking which 33 here in town, also in Warren. How about 29 in Tiddy Youth, 32 in Clymer, 36 in Fredonia. Randolph started the day at 33, so it was a chilly day, and get used to this because more of this is on the way. It's November. What do you people want? It's supposed to be cold. Come on. Lots of clouds downtown right now, 39 as a noon hour. Haven't broken the 40-degree mark yet because the clouds have a light rain shower reported there as well. Still breezy, west wind to 13 and a wind gust to 17, and there's that wind chill index of 31. So, just bundle up out there today. It is going to be a chilly day. First Defense Doppler radar showing you those lake effect rain showers. Notice this lake effect band coming straight off the lake, starting to impact the North County up near Dunkirk. So that's mainly where that band is staying, but we still do have scattered lake effect rain showers. And again, even though it's not being depicted here, there could be some light snow showers mixing in with this from time to time. And here's the reason why. Notice these 3 orange lines right here. This is called a trough. We have a trough that's digging in, but notice the lake effect coming off the upper Great Lakes. This is our source region right up here. So all the lakes are interconnected together, such as it is. They, they just produce their own lake effect in essence. So you can see it here on FutureScan. The newest run of the computer modeling shows you those lake rain and snow showers continue. Will ultimately turn to all snow, especially across the southern tier tonight. They'll ultimately turn to more snow showers overnight. Tomorrow, basically the same thing. Rain and snow showers at times mixing, and then we'll ultimately see another change over to some light snow showers tomorrow night, and then through at least Thursday morning. We'll see at least a few more rain and snow showers. So projected snowfall totals here updated based on the new model guidance. This is the forecast snow coming off the FutureScan model. And again, I do think you could see upwards of 2 inches, mainly on the highest hills. But understand this is not going to stick for long. Again, the sun and the wetness of the snow is not going to allow it to stick very long. But again, you could see at least upwards of 1 inch in spots. So it's the first snowfall. Merry Christmas, everybody. And temperatures today will likely struggle to hit the 40-degree mark, but rain and snow showers, but it will be a brisk day. And now, the next 7 days of your life are coming up on that big old screen. So we'll keep the chance for rain and snow through Wednesday and Thursday. Limited sunshine on Friday. The sun returns in great supply over the weekend. And it looks like by next week, we'll be back in the lower 50s. Take a break. Be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Well, colder temperatures are coming, so people are going to start turning on their heat. And gas prices, well, they're going up. National Fuel is having a price hike for its natural gas after the company saw higher market prices. Erie News Now's Keelan Berrien spoke with local contractors that put installations in to see how you can keep your gas bill from being so high.
National Fuel is seeing higher market prices for its natural gas, so it's causing a price adjustment for its customers. Here at Buyer Specialty, they're giving installation tips on how to keep your house warm without breaking the bank this winter. Spray foam installation in a rim joist is one way to keep your heat tucked in because, as you know in Erie, thermostats are set higher to stay warm during the winter. At Buyer Specialty, Nathan Brewer has advice to save money.
A very uncomfortable house is going to be a sign that it's hard to maintain the temperature you want in a particular room or a particular area.
The rim joist is usually covered with spray foam installation. It keeps heat and air from leaking your home. The easiest way to see if a rim joist doesn't have proper installation is during the winter. Icicles are hanging from roofs, but with melt spots.
That's a troublesome spot for people. You got to plug those holes. Usually if you try to plug the holes low and high in a home, that's where you're going to do the most good and adding to what you have as far as insulation goes.
National Fuel Gas is adjusting prices. An average monthly bill goes up $78.72 to $85.16, seeing a $6.44 price increase. So, as prices go up, Brewer says,
go around and check that all your windows are closed, going around and looking for where there may be a leak. For example, in a basement around that rim joist area, if you go into your attic and look for unequal levels of insulation, I guess, where it's really thin in spots and it's really thick in other spots.
And these price adjustments will go into effect today, but the next price adjustment period will happen February the 1st. But you can check out different customer assistance programs to help pay for your utility bills. Reporting from Buyer Specialty, Keelan Berrien, Erie News Now.
All right, Keelan, great tips there. Thank you, sir. And when you think about it, it's definitely feeling cold out there. I was probably about this close to turning on my thermostat over the weekend, but we have one of those like built-in heaters in our entertainment system, the fake fireplace type of thing. And that does a really good job of warming our living area, so it's not such a big deal, but I know it's coming. I know it's coming for a lot of people. And if it's not natural gas, it's the built-in electric heating in your home. And I mean, that can be pretty pricey too.
Yep. I mean, I heat with all electric, and you want to talk about high electric bills. Come look at ours.
Yeah.
But anyway, you might need the heat tonight. We're going down to 30 in some of the deepest valleys to likely around 37 or 38 around the Lake Erie shoreline. Rain snow changes to all snow by the morning, a spotty 1 to 2 inch on the hills.
Yeah, absolutely. Dakota, thank you very much. And we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now today as your choice for local news. And it's going to be definitely a big one tonight. As a final reminder, we want to invite you to join us starting at 8 o'clock right here on Facebook Live, our website, WNYNewsNow.com, and channel 716 on Roku, where we'll be breaking down all of the local races and providing you with up-to-date analysis and report. Our team will be spread across Chautauqua County taking a look at reaction from some of these candidates and as we come to call some of these races, you'll be the first to know if you're watching our live stream. And if you can't participate by watching all evening long, make sure that you download our free mobile app. Just search WNY News Now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Subscribe to those breaking news push notifications, and for the major races, we will pump it out. But again, at the end of the evening, once we're able to call races, we'll post everything up online at WNYNewsNow.com. Good to see Mo. Good to see Rusty. Great to see Kim, Roger, Bill, and Pam. We thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. And that is it for us today, live here at noon. We'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock for our special election coverage. And then back here tomorrow, live at noon once again. Have a great day.